What's going on, everybody? Crazy Dog back with my second live stream of the night. Now, this one's going to be a little bit different because I'm away from talking about NCAA for this live stream. And I'm going to talk about what went down earlier today when Gary Bettman held a press conference, essentially saying that at some point the NHL will return to action, although they will not be having any more regular season games. The regular season is done. Now, instead, they're going to have a 24 team Stanley Cup tournament. This is going to be fun. So NBC Sports pretty much listed it down. They said phase one, which is what they're in now. The top 12 teams from each conference enter the 24-team playoff format with positioning based on points percentage. Phase two, which is coming up here in early June, pretty much calls for non-contact skating for players in small groups at team facilities. The hopeful starting date for phase two is, again, early June. And then phase three would be formal training camps starting. They say that will happen no earlier than the first half of July. And phase four will be the big dance, 24-team playoff, including seeding games, play-in rounds, must still be determined. That's when the big dance pretty much will be happening. Now, how this is going to happen is they're going to have two hub cities, one in the east, one out west. Now, in the east, you got, of course, Columbus. That'd be great if they came to Columbus for the eastern portion of the Stanley Cup playoffs. That'd be lit. Then you'd have Pittsburgh, Toronto, and Vancouver. So essentially, you'd have Columbus and Pittsburgh. And then the two, you'd have Vancouver, Toronto, Edmonton. Those are the Canadian cities. You'd have Los Angeles. You'd have Dallas and Chicago. So that'd be fun. Each conference is assigned a hub city with secure hotels, arena, practice facilities, and in-market transportation. Of course, Columbus has all that good stuff. They'll be limited to 50 personnel in the hub city with only a small number of support staff permitted to enter the event areas. Timing and sites will be determined at a future date. Will be dependent on COVID-19 conditions, testing ability, and government regulations. Here's how the format will work, according to NBC Sports. The NHL, of course, shared the competitive format for the 24-team playoff setup and its return to play announcement earlier today. They're going round robin to determine the top four seeds. The qualifying round, where it has previously been referred to as a play-in round. City 1 represents Eastern Conference teams. City 2 will be the West. So in each conference, teams will be seeded by points percentage. Of course, the Blue Jackets have already been announced as they are facing the Maple Leafs in the first round, or the qualifying round. Round robin, the top four teams play in the first round seeding. Regular season overtime rules in effect. Sick. Qualifying round, remaining 8 teams play best of 5 series and to advance to the first round. Playoff overtime rules in effect. First round and second round format, seeding versus bracket, and series lengths to be determined. And then conference finals and Stanley Cup finals will be a best of 7. So that means the other rounds will be best of 5. So yeah, essentially the first team to win 3 games wins. I love that. So yeah, of course we are the the 9th seed. We, of course, will be facing the Toronto Maple Leafs. Boston, Tampa, Washington, and Philadelphia will play in round-robin games to determine the number one seed, determine the top four seeds. Best of five qualifying round, we'll have Pittsburgh against Montreal, Carolina and the Rangers, Islanders and Panthers. Ooh. Maple Leafs and Blue Jackets. That'd be lit. Then out west, of course, the Blues, Avs, Golden Knights, and Stars will be the round-robin teams. And then the best of five qualifying round will be Oilers, Blackhawks, Preds, and Coyotes. Ooh, the Coyotes in the playoffs. Imagine that. Now, of course, these games would be held with no fans. But hey, it'd be imagine if somehow we get a freaking Stanley Cup final of Coyotes versus Panthers. And Vancouver and Minnesota. And then Calgary will face Winnipeg. Now, shout out to my guy, Hot Take Hockey. He pretty much went over the draft lottery procedures. Now, here's the funky thing about this. If you lose in the qualifying round, you essentially get a chance at the number one pick. Yeah. So, like, let's say the Blue Jackets somehow lose to the Maple Leafs in the qualifying round. Okay. Well, now we have a chance at the number one pick. That's crazy. Now, that's what I said. I said in the description of this freaking live stream. These playoffs are going to be insane. I mean, they're going to be crazy. Now, of course, you know me. I don't stream hockey. It's far too crazy for me to stream. I tried it last year. I had trouble keeping up with it. So I think I'm just going to relax and chill and watch these games and just take it all in. Not to mention, I think basketball will be happening around the same time too. So, yeah, add more chaos to it. And then, of course, you have baseball returning. So, damn, you're going to probably have hockey, baseball, and basketball going on at the same time, along with possible NFL camp season, too. So, I tell you, man, some of these cities are going to be real busy. Uh-huh. Madison Square, I was going to say Madison Square Garden. Well, the Knicks suck, but yeah. Like places that have multiple teams playing in the same arenas. I think the Nets might. I don't know about the Islanders. I don't know their situation because I know they do play in Brooklyn occasionally. Toronto with the freaking Raptors. You're going to have probably the Raptors possibly playing at the same time as the Maple Leafs. They got to get that whole schedule thing set. You know, they're going to have to figure out what they're going to do about that. Man, you know, that's another thing. I mean, it'll be interesting. Then, of course, out west, not a lot of teams share arenas with, I think Minnesota does. I'm not sure. Minnesota and Chicago, or the Bulls, well, they ain't even done nothing. Dallas, no. Well, I don't know, because the Mavs, I think, would have made the playoffs. Yeah, I think it would have been Colorado and Dallas as teams that would have to figure out something to do about like the arena. I think Minnesota, no. Yeah, that's it. That's the downside of sharing an arena, you know. But oh well, it should be a very fun playoff. Let's see what's going on in that. Hey, but I got the Blues winning the Stanley Cup second straight season, back to back. Boston, Tampa, Philly, Washington have the top four. Yep. Coyotes in the playoffs for the first time since 2012. I know, and it took them going to 24 teams for them to get in. Now, let's see if I can find anything else about it. Nope, that's it. Okay. So let me see if I could possibly wrangle up see what NHL.com has, because they might have a bracket on there. Let's see what NHL.com has for us. So, for those wondering, this is what I don't think they're going to have a bracket yet. But I think we would have to play like one of the top seeds, of course. Maybe the number one seed? I saw a bracket where we would have to play the number one seed, possibly, but who knows? Let's take a look at the standings and see what the playoffs would have looked like if they didn't have the stoppage. So it would have been Washington, Philly. Let's go wild card round here real quick. So it would have been Washington, Philly, Pitt, and then Carolina and Columbus as it stood at the moment. And then, of course, out in the Atlantic, it would have been Boston, Tampa, Toronto. So that means you would have had Philly and Pittsburgh, Tampa, Toronto. Dude, Toronto got spared, I think, with that one. They would have had to face the Tampa Bay Lightning, bro. That would have been so hard for them. And Tampa Bay is trying to rebound from what happened last year, where they got swept by a team that hasn't ever won a playoff series. But now we did. So yeah, it's lit. Now, of course, when the playoffs are starting to happen, when they're starting to go down, I will, of course, do like a whole, playoff preview, giving you like a preview of every single series once I know who's playing who and everything, like in terms of like the round robin. So, yeah, that's pretty much all I got to say about that. And yeah, that's going to wrap it up for this live stream. What's going on, Browns lovers, sports expert? Well, I didn't hide it. I don't know why it's hidden. I didn't hide it. So that's going to wrap it up. I'm Crazy Dog 99, and figured I'd just, do a quick little stream talking about what's going down in the NHL. You think Killer Shot did it? Well, if I ever see him in the stream, I'll ask him. So, yeah. I don't know when the next time we're going to see him in a stream is. But, yeah, whenever he's back in the stream, I will I'll ask him if he hid you or whatever. But, like I said, that's going to wrap it up. I've been going for 13 minutes. I know I haven't talked a whole lot about hockey this year because I just, yeah. I haven't done hockey a lot. I don't really talk much about them. I know a lot of people wonder, who's your team? Well, my team is the Blue Jackets. I just don't talk about them a whole lot. I mean, last year I did try to do hockey streams, but it was just way too intense. I mean, by the time I would talk about one thing happening, the puck's already been passed 5 other times. So I think I'm going to wrap it up there, and we'll see what else happens. Of course, when baseball is pretty much coming back, we don't know when it'll be back. They're still bickering and arguing about pay and stuff. Would not surprise me one bit if baseball does not return, because that would just be typical. It would be so typical for them not to play baseball. They're talking about pay cuts and stuff, and it's just madness. But hey, on the good side, New Jersey opened up, I guess, the possibility for, they pretty much they're allowing teams to start training camps and stuff. So if this was July, the Jets and the Giants would be able to, do their training camp thing, most likely without fans, which I don't really care. As long as there's football, I really don't care about, oh yeah, aren't you going to be mad about not going to training camp? No, not really. I mean, as long as there's football, I don't care. I mean, I'm pretty sure we're going to have college football. That's a very good chance there. We'll see what happens with that. But I know there'll probably be NFL. At least that's what I'm thinking. But yeah, I think I'm gonna. I went over 15 minutes, so I think that's good enough. So I'll see you guys in my next stream, which will be on what's today? Tuesday. My next stream will be on Thursday when I do my next team overview. I have not decided who I'm going to do an overview for yet. I guess I'm just going to leave it as a surprise. So that being said, I'm Crazy Dog 99. Let's go Blue Jackets, and I will see you guys on Thursday. So until then, I'm out. Alaska A&M. I don't even think there was a team in Alaska.